Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we're diving into some fascinating developments that are shaping the landscape of the NHL, especially when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, I know you're probably wondering what big news I'm talking about, and trust me, it's quite a story. The NHL is changing, and the Canadiens are right in the middle of it. We're witnessing a new era in hockey contracts, one that's redefining how teams manage their cap space and how players negotiate their futures. And spoiler alert, some of the details are downright astonishing. Let's start with the biggest story of the moment, Kirill Kaprizov. You might have heard about his new contract, and if you haven't, well, hold on to your hats because this is something we've never seen before in the league. Kaprizov, the star winger for the Minnesota Wild, has signed what is now the biggest contract in NHL history. That's right, the man is set to earn a staggering $17 million per season, starting next summer. When you look at the structure of this deal, it's clear that it's not just about the salary, but about the strategic way the contract is built. Most of Kaprizov's money will come from signing bonuses, massive signing bonuses, actually. In fact, he's set to receive around $19. $1 million in signing bonuses in his first 4 years, which makes up about 20% of the $95. $5 million cap space that the Wild have allocated for him. Think about that for a second, $19. $1 million in bonuses spread across 4 years, with each of those years featuring a $18 $1 million signing bonus. It's a game changer. The structure of this deal is truly one of a kind, and it signals a shift in how teams might approach their star players moving forward. Instead of just annual salaries, teams are now increasingly leveraging signing bonuses as a way to secure their top talent financially while managing their cap space. Kaprizov's contract is a clear indication that the NHL is evolving. We've never seen an annual salary like this before, especially considering that his base salary in each of the 8 years is just $1 million. That's right. In the first 4 years, his main earnings come from bonuses, and then in the remaining years, he's earning a modest $1 million annually. It's a fascinating approach, and it's a reflection of how the league's cap is expected to increase in the coming seasons. As the cap goes up, so will the earning potential for players, and this kind of deal might become more common. But here's where things get even more interesting, especially for teams like the Montreal Canadiens. Because while Kaprizov is earning this astronomical sum, the Canadiens have some key players on their roster who are making significantly less, at least for now. Players like Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Juraj Slavkovsky are all signed to long-term deals that are under $8 million per year. For example, Suzuki's deal, signed back in 2021, pays him about $775 million until 2030. Given the current valuation of NHL players and the rising cap, Suzuki's contract is a real bargain. It's a classic case of the Canadiens making smart long-term investments when the cap was lower, ensuring they retain their core players at manageable salaries. This is especially important because, in the near future, as the cap continues to rise, players like Caulfield and Slavkovsky could see their market value skyrocket. Caulfield, for instance, is already considered one of the most promising young goal scorers in the league, and his contract, signed under $8 million, looks increasingly like a steal. Slavkovsky, still in the early stages of his NHL career, has shown flashes of brilliance and has the potential to become a cornerstone for the Canadiens, but his current deal is more modest, giving the team flexibility to add other pieces. Now, let's talk about the ripple effect. Because this new wave of massive contracts for players like Kaprizov and the strategic signings of Canadiens stars like Suzuki and Caulfield show that the league is entering a new financial era. Teams are becoming more creative, using signing bonuses to secure their stars without immediately ballooning their salary cap commitments. This approach gives teams like Montreal some breathing room, allowing them to build around their core without overextending financially. However, there's an inevitable concern looming over the horizon. What about the future of players like Ivan Demidov? He's a young Russian talent, and while he's not yet at Kaprizov's level, many in the hockey world see him as a potential future star. The question is, if Demidov continues to develop at the pace many expect, he'll be demanding a significant payday. And that's where the Canadiens might face some tough decisions. Because, as of now, Demidov doesn't have the experience or autonomy to command a salary comparable to Kaprizov. Still, if he follows the typical trajectory of a Russian player with his talent, he could become one of the league's top-paid players in a few years. Imagine that, if Demidov becomes the player many predict, Montreal will have a real dilemma on their hands. They'll need to allocate a substantial chunk of their cap space to keep him happy, especially if he hits his potential. It's a scenario that could give nightmares to GM Kent Hughes, who's already balancing a roster full of talented players with long-term deals. The Canadiens are fortunate that they signed Caulfield and Suzuki at those bargain rates before the cap started to climb. But moving forward, as Demidov, Hudson, and others approach their prime, the financial pressures will only intensify. Lane Hudson, for example, is another young defenseman who's showing enormous promise. If he continues his development, he's going to command a significant salary too. The Canadiens must be proud that they secured Caulfield and Suzuki early under cap-friendly deals, because it gives them some financial flexibility now, but that window isn't going to stay open forever. When Hudson or Demidov sign their new contracts, it's going to cost the team dearly. And if Demidov's trajectory mirrors Kaprizov's, Montreal might need to make some tough decisions about who stays and who goes. Looking at the bigger picture, the shifting financial landscape is also reflected in other parts of the league. For instance, the Washington Capitals are hopeful that Alex Ovechkin will return from his lower body injury soon. The Capitals are counting on Ovechkin to help them contend, especially with the other teams in the Atlantic Division stepping up their game. This division is getting more competitive than ever, with each team making strategic moves to improve their roster and cap management. And speaking of the Canadiens, they're quietly building a team that's not just competitive now, but has the potential to dominate in the near future. Their core of young, talented players like Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Hudson, and others is coming together in a way that could rival some of the league's best. The key for Montreal is to keep these players in the fold, which is why their early signings were so crucial. They've managed to lock in players at reasonable rates before the cap explosion, giving the team a solid foundation to grow around. But of course, the challenge remains: how to keep all these talented young stars happy and financially secure without breaking the bank. Montreal's management, led by GM Kent Hughes, will need to navigate this new era of contracts carefully. They'll need to strike a balance between rewarding their young talent and maintaining flexibility for future acquisitions or extensions. It's a delicate dance, and the stakes are higher than ever. Now, circling back to the bigger picture, this new contract trend isn't just about individual players. It's about how the league is evolving, how teams are thinking about their long-term strategies, and how they're trying to stay competitive in a rapidly changing financial landscape. The rise of signing bonuses, the increasing cap, and the value of young, cost-controlled players like Caulfield and Suzuki are all pieces of a puzzle that could reshape the NHL's power dynamics over the next few years. And for the Montreal Canadiens, all of this is both an opportunity and a challenge. They're in a good place now, with a talented core and smart contracts, but they'll need to be even smarter in the future. Demidov's development, Hudson's rise, and the continued growth of Caulfield and Suzuki will all play a role in how successful this team can be. The team's future hinges on their ability to manage their cap efficiently and to keep their star players happy while still adding the necessary pieces to compete at the highest level. Remember, this isn't just about the contracts or the cap, it's about the passion, the history, and the future of the Canadiens. This franchise has always been about resilience and innovation, and right now, they're navigating a new financial landscape that could define their next decade. It's an exciting time for fans, even with the challenges ahead, because the potential is enormous. The young core is promising, the management seems sharp, and the league is evolving into a new era of hockey economics. So, as we watch this story unfold, Keep your eyes on how Montreal manages to balance their roster, cap space, and long-term vision. 'Cause trust me, the decisions they make now will echo for years to come. And I, for one, am eager to see how this new chapter in Canadiens history will be written. The future is bright, and the journey is just beginning. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you think the Canadiens are on the right track with their current roster and contracts? Are you excited about the future, or do you see potential pitfalls ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, this team is built on the passion of its fans, and your voice is a vital part of this community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what's next for this incredible franchise.